So I'm gonna do a quick story time on how the fuck I found out that my best friend of over 20 plus years ended up being a fucking psychopath. So, now mind you, my daughter had gone over to her house a couple times before. My daughter's on the spectrum. Her son's on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum. This is the first time she's gone over there in a time where it wasn't the summertime and they didn't have a whole bunch of like outdoor, highly physical activities to keep their autistic minds going and flowing. She does not have a setup in her house that accommodates these type of children, not even her fucking own kid, but that's neither here nor there. So therefore, since this is the first time they're in that house in the wintertime, can't really go outside and do all the things they're not meshing well, and they're a little bit older. So over the course of her being over there, now mind you, beforehand, there are multiple miscommunications that occurred that I very much so take responsibility for, but that is not the meat and potatoes of what the fuck happened and why this bitch is a psychopath. So let's get into it. So at two different occasions over the time of her being there, she called me very much so sounding like a kindergarten teacher and speaking very concisely and very like, you know, not like a regular person kicking it with their friend, like, girl, what the fuck, these kids over here going crazy, or, you know, they you know, sending me through it or whatever the fuck. She's asking like very roundabout ways, saying like, you know, does she have her tablet? Because like, you know, she doesn't have a tablet, and you know, she said she didn't have one, and she have restrictions. And I'm like, bitch, no, why is you calling me asking me about a fucking tablet? Like, no, girl, she don't got it. She didn't bring one over there. It was just weird. The conversation, the tone, everything was weird. But she very much so was still calm, gave no indication that there was a problem. Just clearly that she don't have a tablet. They can't agree. Maybe he want to watch something on his. She don't, whatever. Normal kid shit. Whatever, right? No other indication that it's anything else, that it's a red flag. I thought she was spending the night. She had a spend the night bag. She had pajamas, all these things. But again, miscommunication on my behalf. Maybe she didn't understand that. Fast forward to the night, you know, about 9:30. This is on a Saturday. She says she's ready to come. She called me and said she's ready to come home. And I said, okay, cool. I say, okay, fine. I'm irritated because I don't feel like getting up because she stays 45 minutes away from me. But cool. If my baby says she want me to come get her, I'm going to come fucking get her. I don't really think that she should have called me with that, because I feel like when you're in a household with somebody that is supposed to be the authoritative figure, you shouldn't keep calling a parent. Like, if you are taking on that role as the authoritative figure in the household, then they should be listening to you. You really shouldn't have to chime in with me based on the questions that she was asking me. Again, no red flag, no indication that anything is going awry in this spend the night or sleepover situation. So fast forward, go pick her up. The energy was weird. Her and her husband was there. They're both looking fucking weird. But again, they're both weirdos. So it never is like alarming to me that these people is acting like weirdos. You know what I'm saying? And when I say weirdos, I just mean like very much so gives passive aggressive. I'm confrontational. Not confrontational in a bad way, but very much so. If you got something to say, let's talk about it. Let's speak about it in the moment. She's very much so an analytical ass bitch who has to, I need 3 to 5 fucking business days to process the conversation before I can talk about it. I need to know how I feel. Like, very much so doesn't trust herself and her own emotions to deal with things in the moment. Very much so giving whack ass, pussy ass, punk ass bitch. Right? Period. So, you know, the next day I text her and I'm like, girl, I don't know if it's just me because I'm on the spectrum, or again, because I say I'm on the spectrum, my daughter's on the spectrum, her son's on the spectrum. So I said, bitch, I don't know if it's just because I'm on the spectrum. I said, but the way you acting, bitch, I think you on that motherfucker too, because this whole interaction was super weird, you know? And she's like, yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was looking back on our previous text messages with other times that she came over, and, you know, it felt like, you know, things was a little off, blah, 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 blah. In my original text, I said something along the lines, just being funny, like, girl, I want to fight you. So she said, like, oh, I agree, not with the fighting thing, but very much so, like, communication was all blah, blah, blah. So I acknowledged, okay, there, you know, very much so, I could have communicated better, whatever. That's it. You know, I tell her, I said the closest correlation or words that I can use to articulate how I thought the situation was weird was that I have my regular friend that I talk to and we have our normal tone. And I said, and then it was like this weird kindergarten teacher tone you was speaking to me in every time the 2 times she called me, and when I came there, the energy when I picked her up. So I'm like, okay, bitch, I don't know what type of tip you on, but I don't know. Maybe you just act differently when it comes to dealing with the kids. I'll adjust accordingly. So fast forward, that was on Saturday, right? Now fast forward to last night. I called her just to shoot the shit, like not thinking nothing of it, and she kind of like, you want to get into the issue, and I'm like, I don't know what she said verbatim, but she's something along the lines like, do you want to talk about it? And I'm like, okay, well clearly it's something on your chest about it, so go ahead. I'll listen to you, whatever you got to say. So she breaking it down from the fucking beginning of when she, again, it's focused on how she's processing the situation, how she felt about the text message, the circumstances that she was in when she got the text message. I was in a bed, I was asleep, and then I woke up, and I sat on the toilet, and I seen your text message, and I was like, I don't have, like, girl, what the fuck? Okay, cool. I'm still, again, trying to validate, okay, I understand. It was just a lapse of communication. I'm not trying to change you. I accept you for who you are. Maybe I just need to have a little bit more direct communication when it comes to what's going on with the kids. No problem. No issue, right? Some type of way the conversation still kept creeping and kind of picking apart, and she's like, well, I would appreciate it if you felt some type of way because, things are getting lost in translation via text message. You would call me if you let me know. I said, okay, cool. I expect you to do the same thing. If you got something that you think you misunderstanding, because the same thing where she was talking about like the thing with me saying, oh, girl, I want to fight you. She taking it literally. And I'm like, well, bitch, why would I want to fight you if you not... It wasn't even like that. Like, bitch, you should have gave me the benefit of the doubt and knowing I was just shooting the shit with you. Didn't even know, bitch, that you really was doing some shit that would have warranted me beating your motherfucking ass. And that's why you thought I had that type of energy. We'll get there. So I said, okay, mind you, this conversation is going on for at least 40 minutes where she's talking about all her feelings, all the things. And I said, well, I would appreciate if you did the same thing. Let me know if you felt some type of way too. You could have called me. She's like, well, bitch, can I be tired? Can I be tired? Like, da, da, da. And I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. You was tired. All right, cool. I guess today you got energy. So 3 days later, but that's neither here nor there. You're entitled to that. So then at the end, she says, "Ooh, bitch, I'm about to get mad." Then at the end, at some point, we're creeping up into the conversation, trying to pick apart, like, well, what was your tone in, or and she's like, well, essentially, the kids was saying that they had a good time when you came to pick them up. She said, this is what she said, but she said, but it was a shit show. So now my mind is going whoosh. It's thinking about every interaction that we had that day and how she was communicating with me. She said it was a shit show. And I said, what? That doesn't match the tone, the conversation, the energy. Like, y'all was weird, but y'all always weird. So, like, I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? Very much so gets passive aggressive all the time. So I'm like, bitch, elaborate. What are you talking about? She says, I didn't know she was a liar. I didn't know she lies. Talking about my daughter. Now, let me tell you something right now. If anybody know how to really parent, you know that you don't make any type of character fucking assessments or judgments about a fucking child. If there is a situation where you want to communicate your opinion or your perspective on somebody's child, you go with the facts first. You lead with the facts. You say, this is what happened. Da-da-da said this, then da-da-da said this, and then that person did this, and then this is what I did, and that you get facts, and you let the parent, even if you have your own opinion and your own judgment about somebody's kid, you let the parent make their own assessment and their own judgment call based on the situation. And then you fucking communicate accordingly like two fucking adults in a parent-to-parent communication. This bitch didn't tell me shit. She said, now she broke down the situation where she so-called calling my fucking kid a liar. And really, it's just regular kid shit that kids do. Talking about it was a toy there. I told them don't touch the toy, but they touched the toy. Well, bitch, why is the toy there and available for them to access? Kids don't got no fucking impulse control. Oh, she was a liar. Bitch, you ain't here doing weird shit. Of course she lying. Kids that ain't just lying just to lie. They just like, bitch, kids lie because they trying to protect themselves or they think they about to get in trouble. Yeah, bitch, they do like you're... Bitch, are you really sitting on this phone telling me 2 days later about some motherfucking shit that my kid did? So what you really did is you fucking sat up and withheld this information, called me 3 separate fucking occasions, never mentioned this shit, while the whole time you saying it's a shit show, the shit is falling apart, all of this, da-da-da, and never said nothing until 2 days later. Bitch, what? So So she motherfucking tells me like, oh, it was a shit show. She was a liar. I had no idea she was a liar. She had told me, now, mind you, let me back up. The first thing she said is, it was a shit show. She said, what did Rue say? Rue didn't say nothing. I said, well, that's weird because, bitch, how are you putting a responsibility of fucking communicating to the parent what happened in your household on a 6-year-old? You didn't feel compelled at any point between Saturday to Tuesday night at 8 o'clock to motherfucking tell me? Not the one time, not the 2 times you talked to me on the phone. You didn't not one time say, oh, these kids is taking me through this. She said they couldn't communicate well. They didn't want to do the same things. She was like, I had to do guided play for the first hour or two of them playing. Like, she's like, I wanted them to just go off and play. But they clearly didn't feel as if they had the resources, the environment, or the tools to just go out and just play on their own. It wasn't there. Again, that goes back to me saying, like, their house is really not set up for an autistic child. I embrace that. I don't really think that they embrace that. So it very much so is a difference between them being at my house versus being at their house. And instead of just communicating that with me so I could have understood the nuances of the situation, that bitch took the fucking scenario, sat down and chatted it out with her bitch ass husband. They made up a whole story and narrative about my motherfucking child where you done called her a liar because she did tell me that they son hit her. And I said, well, did you hit him back? And she said, no, ma, he's littler than me. Like, if I hit him, I'm going to really hurt him because she hit hard. Okay? She be play fighting with me and I be like, girl, chill the fuck out. So she's like, no, mom, I didn't know. I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, okay, girl, but I'm letting you know that you got the permission to hit a kid back. Because if they froggy enough to leap and hit you, they froggy enough to get hit the fuck back. So we left it at that. So she starts telling me the story. Now her version, I never told her that because kids hit, that's what they do. If I'm not in the situation with it, I can't manage it. All I can do is try to manage how my child handles the situation in the future. But now she's telling me, so bitch, now you telling me, she didn't believe that the baby hit her. She didn't believe it. So she's like, oh, I told him, I went up to her and I told her, show me how he hit you. Show me how to hit you. Like, so now you're interrogating her and you're making it seem as if like her just telling you that something happened, it didn't really fucking happen. Because not only did she tell me it happened, she told my mama too, unprovoked. Because we don't know anything about what happened because this bitch waited 2 fucking days to say anything. So I'm pissed. Because at this point, we're beyond whatever the hell happened with the kids. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter now. You didn't give me enough respect to tell me what the fuck happened so I could address it in real time. Because I would have had a conversation with her on the way to the crib. Bitch, we live fucking 40 minutes away. I would have kicked it with her in the car. You didn't give me enough respect to tell me so I could actually address my child and talk to her in real time. Kids don't remember shit beyond a day. You didn't do that. You didn't have enough respect for me, but I'm quite sure you sat there with that fuck ass nigga and shit chatted about what the fuck happened. Y'all decided, now that's where I'm talking about that Jehovah's Witness fucking kick in, because they got a patriarchal brainwashed ass mindset where now instead of you having enough respect to being like, oh, I gotta talk to Ash about this, you sat up with this nigga, compared notes with this goofy ass motherfucker who you complain about they parenting every day. So you Dumb and Dumber, fucking Tweedledee, Tweedledum, Ren and Stimpy, motherfucking Beavis and Butthead sitting up here comparing notes and made a whole narrative about my child, called her a liar. So now this is an unsafe environment because now everything my child do, you gonna process it through the fucking mindset or through the perspective of she's a liar. When in reality, they just doing shit that kids do. And your shitty ass motherfucking parenting then sat up here and caused a problem because one, so anyway, let me get back to the story. So I said, Oh, bitch, I'm so fucking pissed. I said, you ain't have enough respect to me to come to me as a woman, as a parent. I said, I talked to you 2 times and saw you another time when I came to pick her up. And I said, and the way you're communicating, what you're communicating to me right now is the polar fucking opposite of how your tone, the things you were saying when you spoke to me on 3 separate fucking occasions that day. This bitch said, I had to process it. Process what, bitch? Nothing happened to you. Nothing happened to you. You mean you wanted to control it because you was too pussy to motherfucking say to me, to my face in the moment what happened? No wonder when I text her and said, bitch, I wanted to fight you, you looking it through the lens of how foul you acting, which is why you thought I was serious when I said I wanted to fight you, because, bitch, you deserved your motherfucking ass beat. But sitting up here, so anyway, I said, okay, bitch. So I'm asking her what happened. She's giving me the examples, very much so giving just regular child behavior. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. And I'm nobody who thinks my child is perfect. I'm nobody who doesn't fucking take feedback about my child. I'm not that type of parent, baby. My baby be sending me through it. So I'm not saying that. But I do know that nobody has ever characterized her in that way, ever. Not a teacher, not a friend, not a family member, not an acquaintance, not a nothing. So this is some brand new shit to me. So you mean to tell me that you broke this down, simmered on it for fucking 2 days, and this is the way that you thought was the best way to articulate this information to me? You took 2 days to simmer on it and to process it, and then this is the way that you thought was the appropriate way to come at me. Okay, so I said, okay, bitch, I gotta go. I said, because I don't appreciate how the fuck you approach this situation. You didn't give me an opportunity to say anything. You didn't give me the fucking respect enough to be able to handle the shit with my own child in real time, to speak to her about it. I said, I'm gonna call you back. Because now I got to go figure some shit out. I go talk to her. She breaks down the fucking, and I'm in I calm down. I relax. I get all my thoughts together, and I come to her in a very conversational way, trying not to push, not trying to give any type of leading questions. And I'm like, okay, just saying little tidbits. Okay, but so baby's like, tell me what happened. She told me, and I'm like, so you didn't know how to handle 2 autistic kids. And you projected that shit on my fucking baby. Got it. You and your dumbass, goofy ass motherfucking husband, bitch. Got it. And then thought you was gonna call me, say some foul ass shit like that to characterize my motherfucking child in such a way. Instead of just telling me what the fuck happened. And then you thought I wasn't going to respond in this type of way. So I text her, I said, bitch, let me get my baby to bed. I said, I ain't going to wait 2 business days to motherfucker tell you how I feel. I said, I'm calling you as soon as I get her down for bed. We end up talking. I immediately go to fuck in. I said, bitch, I'm not mincing words. I'm not going to mince words with your ass at the fuck all. I said, you foul as fuck for the way you handled that situation. Sitting up here gonna wait 2 motherfucking business days to sit up here and tell me what the fuck happened with my baby in your motherfucking house under your motherfucking guidance. You fucking simple bitch. Fuck what the fuck she did, or if she a liar, it don't even matter now. It doesn't even matter, because now the biggest issue is how you sat on the phone with me, sat and talked about your feelings, and you processing it for 40 minutes before you got into the meat and potatoes and telling me what the fuck was going on with my kid. When I tell you, the shit always come from in the house. When motherfuckers who violate your kids, because bitch, and now I have to grapple with the fact that my baby ain't safe over there. My baby ain't safe over there. Not only can my baby not come over here like, damn, bitch, I can't fuck with you. So when I'm trying to get this bitch to have some level of accountability and tell her how foul she is, this bitch hangs up on me, texts me and said, we're done, blocked, and blocks me. +20 years. Who knew that this bitch was a fucking psychopath? Because who handles kids that way? Who communicates like that? And who the fuck projects they bullshit ass parenting skills on a fucking 6-year-old? So anyway, so final story, like I said, final part of the story is, you know, like I said, she blocked me and I was like, oh, okay. Now, mind you, I didn't see that coming. I couldn't imagine simmering on it for 2 fucking days. And then thinking that you didn't, and then not thinking that I was going to have this type of reaction. Didn't process in your mind. It didn't process in your mind that it was weird to sit up here and act completely normal like nothing happened for fucking 3 days, damn near. And then dump and unload this shit about my kid like you aren't the parent and you shouldn't be the responsible enough and responsible one and mature one to sit up here and tell me and communicate what the fuck happened with my child. After describing it and characterizing the whole scenario as something drastic as it was an absolute shit show. So really, them 2 times you call me, you wanted me to come pick my baby up. Why you ain't just say that, ho? Why you ain't just say that? Because now after I didn't process this information, now when I originally called her, I was like, damn, this is fucked up. My baby's never going over there again. That's not a safe space for her. And really, I feel bad for the baby. I feel bad for her baby because they are very much so people who don't want to acknowledge autism, don't want to acknowledge that you have to parent differently, don't want to acknowledge that this is a situation that you have to handle completely differently when it comes to dealing with this type of child. So I really hope that in the future, whenever they have more, you know, friend and parent, you know, interactions with kids, that they don't encounter parents who treat their child with such a lack of understanding and compassion. Because this is when it starts to kick in where how somebody, their viewpoints, their mindset, their perspectives when it comes to parenting and parenting a whole child. Not just doing things in a very authoritative way and I have this strict, you know, very much so conservative mindset, very much so stricture, very much so, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, Rue grows up in an environment where it's very creative, very much so a lot of big personalities. That house and their personalities are giving gray. Their sister is the only one who got like some razzle dazzle and some personality. Everybody else in that house is very much so giving drab. It's giving sad. So Lord forbid, like, that anybody come over there and express any type of, like, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with it. And it's fucked up that we couldn't even have the conversation of, like, parenting and the differences and, you know, how they approach things. We couldn't even have a real conversation because after that, bitch, it's over. We don't got shit to talk about, bitch. We can't be cool. My baby ain't safe over there. And I was like, damn, I really got to grapple with the fact that I got to tell this bitch I'm not fucking with her no more. She beat me to the punch but because the bitch didn't even want to hear what I got to say. She said accountability? Huh? Who's that? Who is she? I don't know her. And this is a perfect example how a bitch can be in therapy for years and it don't do shit. That bitch will swear on therapy. You think motherfuckers is healed and communicative and they can bitch, really you're an avoidant. Which is why the fuck you took 3 fucking days to tell me what the hell happened. Because you was too pussy to say what the fuck, because you didn't know how I was going to react. You ain't know how I was going to react. Because you knew you was about to say some foul ass shit. You knew you couldn't even communicate with me like a real fucking adult and explain to me, this is what happened. This is happening, this happened, and this happened. And then you make whatever type of assessment that you want to as the parent based on the information that I gave you. That's how you lead with respect. But you 2 motherfuckers don't know how to do that with y'all brainwashed ass fucking crazy ass mentality. Insanity. Like, could not believe that shit was happening. Because I'm like, damn, I just lost a friend over this shit. Because there's one thing that people don't play about. They don't play about their motherfucking kids, bitch. They don't play about their kids. And this is the biggest lesson in discernment with aligning myself with people who think and process parenting, not just life, parenting in the same type of way that I do. It was so bad. I had to go up to Rue and I told her, I said, you'll never go over that house again. I'm so sorry that I put you in that situation where she don't know to even say anything that's a red flag. She thinking like, you brought me over here. You said this is a safe environment. I want to go play with the baby because they do play well together in all scenarios that I've seen in. Again, I know this is a different set of circumstances in this type of play date, but they've all played well. So she like, this was a safe space. So what am I to think? So I had to go up to her and say, baby, I'm so sorry. You will not be going over there again. You will not be at that house again. I am so sorry that mommy didn't do a better job at protecting you from an environment that was not safe for you. And all she did was give me a long hug. She didn't say nothing. She just gave me a long hug and she said, I love you so much. Which let me know she knew it was some bullshit. She knew them niggas was weirdos. The whole situation about calling her a liar was over her flicking a light switch on and off. It was about a light switch being flicked on and off. She told them not to turn the fucking light off. They was doing it and she controlling it with her phone, turning the light on and off. I asked her, I said, baby, what happened? Like, was a light being funny or something? And she said, yeah, it was a ghost in the house. I thought it was a ghost. The whole time this bitch flicking the fucking light on, testing them to see if she's gonna fucking do what she says she gonna do. And really, the whole time my baby thinking it's a ghost in the room. Just doing kid shit. Just doing regular kid shit. And you didn't characterize my baby as a whole fucking liar over doing regular kid shit. Imagine that. They was doing the same kind of shit when they was over here at my house. They was fine. That was like probably over a month ago that he had came over to my house and they was cool. They played great. They had plenty of things. Pay attention. This is a learning lesson for me. I'm only sharing this because another parent needs to hear this to watch out for the signs. And I'm not saying they bad people. Fuck them bitches in that fucking whole household. Fuck them and everything they stand for. But it ain't safe for me and mine. So really at the end of the day, if you parent a certain type of way and you want to be respected and handled in a certain type of way when it comes to how you communicate about your motherfucking child, watch who you align yourself with and keep this was definitely a fucking loud ass lesson for me. And I am so thankful that it happened exactly the way that it happened. And remove these motherfuckers out the way. Because who knows what the fuck would have happened to my baby in that type of unsafe environment. Emotionally unsafe. I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about emotionally unsafe. But that's why these kids grow up and they have all type of fucking problems. And I hope that baby ain't they karma. Because they old ass motherfuckers who had late babies late in life. Late stage babies. And that baby gonna send they motherfucking old asses through there. Buckle up, bitch.
I acted inappropriately with my best friend's boyfriend, or so she says I did, because I apparently did the most unforgivable thing this past weekend, but I need to know what you guys think. My best friend is claiming that I am flirting with her boyfriend. So my friend and her boyfriend have been together for about 5 years. I'm kind of like the third one in the relationship. We always joke that we're a throuple. And mind you, that was a joke she started. Over the past year, they've been having some issues in the relationship. There isn't as much affection and attention as there used to be. Anyway, so we are out to karaoke, the three of us. We had just had dinner. Her boyfriend was nice enough to pay for dinner, and I was super grateful. So we're at karaoke. We've had some drinks, and me and her boyfriend decide to pick out a song, and we pick out her favorite Christmas song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. And by the time she gets back from the bathroom, the song starts to play. So we go up on the stage and me and her boyfriend start singing All I Want for Christmas Is You. He has his arm around me and he's pointing to his girlfriend. But then like once in a while he points at me, but as a joke. Still, I could see why this would upset my friend. She was PMSing on top of all of this. So after we sing that song, she is just weird for the rest of the evening. And then her boyfriend asked me if I would like for him to walk me to my car because it is a little bit of a sketchy area. And then my friend flips out. She turns to her boyfriend and says she can take care of herself. She can walk herself to her car. And then I'm like, okay, this looks like a you guys issue, and I head out. Since that night, my friend has completely gone off on me, tells me that I'm not a girl's girl, says that she doesn't want me around her boyfriend at all. And I don't know, I can't help but think that I did something wrong. Can you guys let me know if I deserve this treatment?
Story time when I found out my best friend was my man. Like, mind you, I used to tell this girl everything about my man. Like, little did I know she was taking notes. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all. So boom, my best friend, she was around me every day. Oh, hold on, let me check my phone. So boom, my best friend, she was around me every day, literally. Knew everything I had going on with this boy. Like, she knew when me and him argued, when me and him made up, when me and him was with each other, when me and him, like, she knew. So one day, he says he's gonna go chill with his homeboys. I'm like, okay, cool, I don't trip. I'm like, okay, cool, like, whatever. But something was like, check that location. So I check his location, and it said he was 15 minutes away. But I don't just check his location, just look. I zoom in, and it says he's at an apartment complex, and it looks familiar. So I zoom in, but guess who also shared their location a few days before for her safety? She shared her location a few days before her safety because she was going somewhere. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But y'all, they was at the same address. Like, what the hell? They was at the same address. So I text her, what you doing? She said, I'm at my cousin's house watching a movie. But I call and text him, but he's not answering his phone. Okay. So I pull up. I sit in the car, but it's like across the street. Yeah, I did that. Like an hour or 30 minutes later, they walk out the movie theater. Okay. Y'all, so I get out the car, and I'm like in front of them, like standing like this, with my feet just tapping. I say, so the movie was good? They just looking at me dumb. Just looking at me dumb as fuck, like two lost sitting ducks. Y'all, so my best friend runs, and he stays. So, sorry y'all, but so my best friend runs and he stays. So I walk up to him and I slapped him. Quickly. He like, I'm not even too much worried about him. I'm more so like, you supposed to be my best friend, so fuck him. I don't give a fuck. Niggas do what they do. But my best friend, like, all around the city trying to find my best friend. Like, where is she at? So I can't find her. But hold on, y'all. This video is finna end, so comment for part 2.
I have a little story time about how I got catfished. Okay, bear with me, it's a long story. So basically, I was scrolling on my For You page, whatever, I see this kid. Gorgeous. Wow. I go to his account, he follows me. Great, I follow him back, okay? And he had like 23,000 followers, which is a lot. He DMs me on TikTok, asks for my number. I give him my number, we're texting, right? I hadn't followed him on Insta at this point, so I go and I follow him on Insta. And then he follows me back and DMs me, and he's like, hey, can I have your number? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, we've already been texting, what do you mean, can you have my number? This is when I realized the kid I had been texting, like the one that had that TikTok account, was not the real person. The real person has a TikTok account with like 400k followers, and this person with 23k followers was catfishing, pretending to be them, right? I'm like, oh my god, I just got catfished. I've been texting someone for like 3 days and it's not who I thought it was. So I told the real person, I was like, hey, look, someone's catfishing, pretending to be you. Like, I just wanted to let you know. So then me and him, like the real guy, his name is Stash, by the way. So me and the real Stash did some digging and we found out who the person that was catfishing, pretending to be him was. And it was some girl from, I don't know, Wisconsin maybe? Like some girl, I don't know. So I was texting some girl for 3 days thinking that it was Stash. And it wasn't. But anyways, me and Stash became like BFFs. The only problem is he lives in Greece. I live in Miami. So if he lives in Miami, I would marry him. That kid is like perfect. Love talking to him. He'll stay up to talk to me because he's 6 hours ahead. So he'll stay up 6 hours ahead and we'll FaceTime. I don't know. I have a great time talking to him, but he lives in Greece. And yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that story.